This is the fourth part of the chapter Nationalism in India. How the participant saw the movement, civil disobedience movement. The rich peasants. The rich peasants were hard hit by the depression and falling prices, failed to pay the high government revenue. For them, civil disobedience movement was to fight for Swaraj, was struggle against high revenue. The poor peasant who were the small tenants cultivate or cultivate the rented land. They wanted the unpaid rent to the landlord to be remitted. For merchant and industrialists, the civil disobedience movement was like these merchants and industrialists, they become rich and powerful during the First World War. They were against colonial policies that restrict business activities. They wanted protection against import of foreign goods and rupees sterling ratio that discourage import. The workers, the industrial working class, did not participate in civil disobedience movement in large number as industrialists come closer to the Congress. The women, the women saw the civil disobedience movement as witnessed a large number of women participation. The civil disobedience movement witnessed a large participation of women. They participated in the protest marches, manufacturing of salt, picketing of foreign clothes shops and liquor shops, and many went to jail. They see service to nation as a sacred duty of women, but this won't bring a radical change in the position of women. The limits of civil disobedience movement. The first limitation of civil disobedience movement was the limited participation of Dalits. There was limited participation of depressed class in civil disobedience movement. Gandhiji called this depressed class as Harijan, the child of God, and organized satyagraha to secure temple entry and access to public well, tank, road, and schools. He believed in dignity of work and manual labor. He himself cleaned toilet and persuaded others too. The Dalit leaders were think on different political solution to problem of their society. They organized themselves, demanded reservation in educational institution and separate electorate to choose Dalit members for legislatives. Political empowerment would resolve the problem of their social disability. This was their view. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar organized Dalit into depressed class association in 1930s, demanded separate electorate for Dalit in second round table conference, and British considered their demands. Gandhiji began fast unto death. He believed that separate electorate for Dalit would slow down the process of integration of Dalit in the Indian society. Puna Pact. Puna Pact was signed between B.R. Ambedkar on behalf of depressed class in September 1932. The pact abandoned separate electorate for the depressed class, but seat reserved for depressed class was increased from 71 to 147 in provincial legislature and 18% of the total seat reserved in central legislature. Pune Pact was accepted by government as an amendment to the communal award, but still the participation of depressed class was limited in the civil disobedience movement. The second limitation was limited participation of Muslims. Muslim participation declined after Khilafat non-cooperation movement. Several communal riots take place. After that, after Simon Commission, bring uh, unity and participation in the Nehru Commission to form a constitution, but the effort was failed. Muslim leader was demanded proportional representation in Muslim dominated province in Bengal and Punjab. One third seat reserved for Muslim representative in central legislative and formation of three Muslim majority province Sindh, Baluchistan and Northwest Frontier province. If these demands were met, then they accept joint electorate in place of separate electorate. As these demands were forwarded in the Nehru Commission, these demands were opposed and rejected by Hindu Mahasabha. The sense of collective belonging. Nationalism spread when people being to believe that they are a part of a same nation. That means nationalism is a kind of feeling which attach people that they belong to one nation. The sense of collective belonging developed through the experience of united struggle against colonialism. Indian romanticists play a great role. They play they try to develop feeling of nationalism through history and fiction, folklore and songs, popular prints and symbols. Growth of nationalism in 20th century visually associated with the image of Bharat Mata. The image of Bharat Mata was first created by Bankim Chand Chattopadhyay by his hymns written in Anandmat Vande Mataram in 1870s. Abhinnath Tagore painted his famous painting of Bharat Mata. He portrayed her as an ascetic, calm, composed, divine, and spiritual. In late 19th century, nationalists began collecting and recording folk tales sung by bards. They toured villages to gather folk songs and legends. In Bengal, Rabindranath Tagore collected nursery rhymes, ballads, and myths. In South Madras, Natation Sastri published four volumes of Tamil folk tales known as the Folk Tales of South India. During Swadeshi movement in Bengal, red, green, yellow tricolor flag was designed with a crescent moon to represent Hindu and Muslim, and eight lotus to represent eight British provinces. Gandhiji designed Swaraj flag containing red, green and white and a spinning wheel at the center. Holding and carrying flag was symbol of defiance. History writing was another way to develop a feeling of nationalism. History was reinterpreted to develop a sense of pride among the people for their past. These two famous images were drawn. One shows Bharat Mata as an ascetic by Abhinnath Tagore. The second picture was drawn where Bharat Mata is carrying a trident. Here it shows that Bharat Mata holding a trishul standing beside a lion and elephant, both a symbol of power and authority. So different method is used by the romanticists in India to develop a feeling of nationalism in Indian people.